Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Lauren House, and we are on the social Nostra network for Beyond the House. And today I have 3 tips for home buyers. It can be for first-time home buyers, or it can be for seasoned buyers who just haven't done these things before. So number 1 is we want to make sure that we are visiting the neighborhood that we want to move into. If you currently live in the neighborhood that you are looking for a home to purchase, then this kind of goes out the window. But most of us are moving to a different neighborhood. And why we want to do this is because we want to go visit the house morning, noon, night, weekdays, and weekends. We want to get a feel for what that neighborhood is like. Are there barking dogs? Are there people partying? Are there, RVs in and out? Is there a lot of turnover? What's the dynamic? What are the catches or the negatives about the neighborhood? Like, we can drive by a house in a short amount of time and you can see all the different houses in the neighborhood. Maybe they have nice curb appeal. Maybe it seems like a nice quiet neighborhood, but come Friday night, come Saturday night, maybe come Sunday fun day, there's partiers, and maybe you don't need that, or you don't like that. Maybe you have smokers next door. There's so many things I guess you should say so many variables that play into actually living in a home once you've purchased it that we don't think about because we like the location, we like the price, we like the house. It checks a lot of boxes, but living in a house is different than going to visit a house for 1 hour here and there. So visiting the house at multiple times throughout the day and multiple days throughout the week is going to be a very smart thing to do. You will find out a lot about the neighborhood. And this leads me to number 2, which is talk to the neighbors. Not only do you want to stalk the neighborhood, you want to stalk the neighbors. Park your car, go for a walk, have a look, listen, think, feel, see what comes up. And as soon as you see a neighbor come out of their house, checking the mail, putting the trash out, whatever they're doing, just go over and introduce yourself and say, "Hi, I'm Lauren, and I'm thinking about moving into the neighborhood. What can you tell me about this neighborhood?" People love to gossip, and now they have a new person to gossip to, so they will not hold anything back. They will tell you how long each person has lived on this block. They will tell you probably the good and the bad, how many kids they have. You will hear it all. And unless it's a person who's a little bit more introverted, or maybe just that neighborhood doesn't have a lot of camaraderie, you will get stuff. I mean, I don't talk to a lot of my neighbors, and I can tell you a lot about them just from passing in and out daily for almost 4 years. So these are things that are really important to get a feel for, because you're going to pick up on your own things that are important to you that you can or cannot live without, depending on what it is. And then you're going to have a little bit of a backstory about the history of the neighborhood so that you can determine if this is the right place for you to live. Number 3, we're keeping it short today. Number 3 is going to be, if you are purchasing a home in an HOA, you need to know more than just what the monthly payment is, what the payment is, how often it gets paid, and basic stuff like that. What you need to know and what you need to ask are questions like, when was the last payment increase? How much was it? When is the next payment increase? How much will that be? Have there been any recent assessments? Are there any assessments coming up? Maybe how much money is in the reserves? Parking restrictions, rental restrictions. I've had clients who have 3 cars and they're buying a 2-car garage house, and they don't know what to do with their 3rd car. And thankfully we checked on that. They couldn't park a car in the driveway. You can't park in the street overnight. So where does that leave their 3rd car? The house just won't work for them solely because of this one HOA parking restriction. So these are all items that you want to inquire about, especially if you have a particular, thing or characteristic that you are fond of that you either need, such as a parking restriction. Maybe you think to yourself, I'll be leaving here in about 3 years. I need to know what the rental restrictions are. Most HOAs don't allow nightly, weekly. Most allow monthly, but I'm learning that especially in North Scottsdale, they're starting to even limit the amount of times you can rent your place out in a year. So sometimes they'll say it's a 30-day restriction, but you can only rent it out twice a year. Well, that doesn't really help you if you want to eventually have a 12-month tenant in there, or even a 6-month tenant in there, or if you want someone to come in town for spring training for 3 months. There's lots of rental restrictions, and that's why people either love an HOA because they keep everyone in place, or they hate an HOA because there's too many rules. So again, I'm not giving an opinion on this. This is solely items that you need to check out with an HOA. And then you can always just leave an open-ended question. Is there anything else I need to know about the HOA? And hopefully they will tell you. You definitely need to know if you have a regular association and then a master association, because that's going to be 2 bills. Sometimes that's monthly, sometimes one is annually. HOAs can be structured in so many different ways, and there's endless amounts of questions that you can ask. So the smartest thing to do is start asking those questions either before you put in an offer or once you're under contract, so you can really dig deep and find out everything you need to know about the HOA. You can request the CC&Rs, nighttime reading as I call it. You can read through it and see what you need to know, just because there will be things in there that come up down the road after you're living in the house for a little bit that you're going to wonder, like, well, can I put up Christmas decorations? Are there limitations on that? Just things that you won't know until the time comes. So I'm trying to help you and be prepared so that when you move into a neighborhood, you have all of your unanswered questions answered and there are no mysteries. And the best way to do that is to check out the neighborhood, speak with the neighbors. And if you're moving into an HOA or considering an HOA neighborhood, please call the HOA and ask as many questions as you can to get as much information as you need in order to make an educated decision. So those are my 3 buyer tips today for first-time home buyers, seasoned home buyers. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. My Instagram is below. I'm always happy to answer questions and answer any real estate questions, really, to be honest with you. So again, my name is Lauren House, and we are on the Social Nostra Network. Thank you for watching Beyond the House, and I will talk to you soon.